The wildest Reddit relationship stories that will leave you speechless. What if I told you that right now, someone is discovering their partner has been secretly destroying everything they love? Or that a family is literally betting money on when your marriage will fail? These aren't movie plots, these are real stories from real people on Reddit, and trust me, you're not ready for what you're about to hear. I've compiled the most jaw-dropping relationship stories from Reddit that will make you question everything you think you know about love, trust, and family. Story 1. The Plant Killer. Let's start with a story that seems innocent at first but gets absolutely terrifying. This comes from a woman who loved houseplants, some expensive, some sentimental gifts from her sister. Over 6 months, about a third of her plants mysteriously died. Now, she knew plants. She'd been caring for them her whole life because of her late mother's love of gardening. These deaths weren't from typical plant problems, no lack of light, inconsistent watering, or root rot. They just died suddenly. The breaking point came when her most precious plant died, a 5-leaf monstera albo that her sister had given her for her birthday. This plant was worth hundreds of dollars. She was crying as she unpotted it, trying to figure out what went wrong, when she noticed something strange. She smelled bleach. The only other adult in her home with unlimited access to her plants was her husband. When she confronted him, he initially denied it. But when she pressed, telling him she could smell bleach in the potting mix, he finally confessed. He had been putting small amounts of bleach into her fertilizer water jugs. When she asked why would he destroy something she loved so much, he couldn't really answer and didn't apologize. But here's where it gets worse. She decided to search his office, something she'd never done before because she respected his space. What she found was horrifying. A drawer full of their daughter's toys. Dolls, dollhouse furniture, little toys that had been going missing. Her husband would steal their daughter's toys, hide them, then notice they were gone and lecture the little girl until she sobbed about being irresponsible. This man was psychologically tormenting his own child for some sick power trip. His exact words about the plants? She deserved to be knocked down a peg. The update? She changed the locks. He's not welcome in her home anymore, and she's filing for divorce. This story absolutely chills me to the bone. This isn't just about plants, people. This is about a man who systematically destroyed things his wife loved to knock her down a peg. That's psychological abuse, plain and simple. And the fact that he was also tormenting their daughter? That's a predator living in their house. This woman's instinct to search his office probably saved both her and her daughter from escalating abuse. The scariest part is how calculated this was. 6 months of slowly poisoning her plants, watching her cry, watching her question herself. That's not a moment of anger, that's methodical cruelty. This story is a perfect example of why we need to trust our instincts when something feels wrong in a relationship. Story 2. The Wedding Invitation Trick. This next story starts frustrating but ends absolutely hilarious. We've got a guy whose parents are chronically late to everything, and I mean everything. Graduations, birthday parties, even the father's own retirement dinner. The mom is wonderful but has zero concept of punctuality. When this guy got engaged, his fiancée made it crystal clear, if his mother was late to their wedding, there would be consequences. She'd witnessed them arrive halfway through a cousin's quinceañera, so she knew what she was dealing with. So what did he do? He had a special wedding invitation printed just for his parents with the ceremony time listed as 1 hour earlier than the actual start time. His mother was beside herself on the wedding day, thinking they were going to miss the ceremony since she had special duties lighting candles. When they arrived and saw other people just getting there too, she was relieved they were starting late and just went with it. The wedding went perfectly. Pictures, reception, everything was beautiful. The secret stayed buried until a family dinner years later. His mom insisted she wasn't always late and had been on time for his wedding. When family members started giggling, she demanded to know what was funny. That's when he confessed about the special invitation. She was furious, angry that he didn't trust her and that he made her look foolish. She'd even had the invitation framed. But here's the kicker, his little sister just got married. The mom got super involved in planning to prove she could be punctual. She swore she'd be on time and not miss anything. Our storyteller set up a betting pool for how late she'd be. Almost everyone bet on time because of the drama from his wedding. The correct answer? 35 minutes late. To a wedding she helped plan. They were literally cleaning up decorations while the next wedding party was setting up. He raised $1,500 for his sister's honeymoon with that betting pool and got to use his 10 free passes to make the couple kiss throughout the reception. I'm dying laughing at this story because it's so relatable. We all have that one family member who's chronically late, right? But this guy turned his mom's inability to be on time into a freaking business model. What gets me is the audacity of being 35 minutes late to a wedding you helped plan. Like, how does that even happen? And the fact that he was so confident she'd be late that he bet $100 on it, that's knowing your family right there. But honestly, I respect the hustle. He turned a family flaw into wedding entertainment and honeymoon funding. That's some next-level problem solving. Though I do feel a little bad for Mom. Imagine finding out your own son has zero faith in your ability to show up on time. But then again, 35 minutes late to your daughter's wedding kind of proves his point. Story 3. The Cheating Boyfriend's Big Night. This story is about the perfect revenge, and I'm here for every second of it. A woman discovered her boyfriend of 3 years was cheating after finding home movies of him with another woman on his computer. The other woman had no idea our storyteller existed. Here's the timing that makes this story incredible. That very night was the biggest night of her boyfriend's life. He was receiving a state award at a big dinner with hundreds of people, parents, councilmen, the works. She'd been putting together a video montage of key moments in his life to play at the event. She was torn. The relationship was over. She's not the type to stay with a cheater. But should she confront him privately after his big moment, or should she let him know she knew in a more creative way? She found cute selfies of him and the other woman, nothing inappropriate that would embarrass him publicly, just photos that looked like he was with a friend. But to him and her, they'd be a clear message. She decided to slip a few of these photos into the video montage. At the event, she spoke kindly of him at the podium. Then after her turn was finished, she walked out. 20 minutes later, the texts started flooding in. Where did she go? What did she know? Where did she find the photos? Was there more coming? She texted back simply, I know you've been king her. But there are no more photos. He didn't come home that night. Or the next. When they finally met at Starbucks to talk, he gave her all the typical cheater excuses. It just happened. He regrets it. She doesn't mean anything. She looked like his high school crush, so he was powerless. When he finished his sob story, she asked where he'd stayed the past few nights. Her house. And what did you do? He wouldn't answer, but they both knew. He'd run straight to the other woman after getting caught. He begged for forgiveness, said he was thinking of proposing. Her response? Good thing I found out before. The aftermath was perfect. When people asked about him, she'd simply say, he left me for a girl who looked like his high school crush. This is absolutely legendary revenge execution. The level of restraint and planning here is chef's kiss perfection. She could have destroyed him publicly, but instead she chose the classiest way to let him know she knew while still getting her point across. What I love most is how she handled the confrontation. No screaming, no drama, just cold, hard facts. Where did you stay? Her house. What did you do? Boom. He played himself. And can we talk about the audacity of this man? He runs to the other woman's house the night he gets caught, sleeps with her again, then has the nerve to beg for forgiveness and claim she means nothing to him? The disrespect is astronomical. But our girl handled it perfectly. She took the high road in public but made sure he knew she wasn't a fool. And that line about him leaving her for his high school crush lookalike? That's going to sting every time someone asks about their breakup. Sometimes the best revenge is just telling the truth. Story 4. The Best Friend Conspiracy. Our final story is so twisted it sounds like a psychological thriller. A newlywed woman noticed something strange after her wedding. Her husband's family kept referring to her as his best friend instead of his wife. It started at her birthday dinner when her sister-in-law answered a phone call and said it was her brother's best friend's birthday. When questioned, the sister-in-law acted like it was totally normal, saying, well, you are best friends. And that's what mom and dad call you. Then it happened again when her mother-in-law introduced her to a colleague as my son's best friend. When she corrected her, saying I'm his wife, the mother-in-law just smiled and didn't address it. The woman was confused and hurt. She'd mentioned being best friends in her wedding vows, but lots of couples do that. Why was his family fixated on this one phrase while ignoring that she was their daughter-in-law? Her husband was equally confused and asked his parents about it privately, but they gave the same dismissive answers. Then everything exploded. During a family dinner that she skipped due to work, her husband decided to confront his father about the situation. After some drinks and coaxing, his father finally broke. It was all part of a bet. The family had made a wager about how long the marriage would last. The father bet they'd stay together, the mother bet less than 1 year, and the sister bet less than 6 months. There was actual money involved. The best friend thing was psychological warfare designed to get under her skin and create doubt about her place in the family. They thought if they kept it up long enough, it would drive her crazy and make her angry at her husband for not defending her, ultimately destroying the marriage. The confrontation turned into a screaming match. Her husband stormed out, and she had to pick him up from a gas station. The next morning brought an awkward confrontation where they discovered the mother-in-law was furious at the father-in-law for revealing their secret. The father-in-law ended up staying with the couple while his own marriage imploded over the betrayal. Now her husband wants to go no contact with his mother and sister, though he's more willing to forgive his father since he at least bet on their marriage lasting. This story makes my blood boil. These people made a literal bet on when this woman's marriage would fail, then actively tried to sabotage it to win money. That's not just toxic, that's evil. Think about the level of calculation here. They planned to psychologically torment a new bride until she broke, just to win a bet. Every time they called her best friend, they were chipping away at her sense of belonging in the family. That's emotional abuse, straight up. And the mother-in-law betting less than 1 year? The sister betting 6 months? These people never wanted this marriage to succeed. They were actively rooting for its failure while pretending to be family. What really gets me is how they acted like she was being unreasonable for being upset. They gaslit her into thinking she was overreacting while they were literally conspiring against her marriage. The husband's reaction is perfect though, immediate no contact with the saboteurs. Sometimes you have to choose between your family of origin and your chosen family, and he chose right. That father-in-law staying with them while his own marriage crumbles? That's poetic justice right there. These stories prove that reality is often stranger and more shocking than any fiction we could imagine. From psychological abuse disguised as plant care to family betting pools on marriage failure, the depths of human behavior never cease to amaze me. Each of these stories teaches us something important about relationships, trust, and knowing when to walk away. Whether it's recognizing manipulation, standing up for yourself, or choosing your chosen family over toxic blood relatives, these people showed incredible strength in impossible situations. Now I want to hear from you. Which story shocked you the most? Have you ever experienced anything similar with toxic family members or manipulative partners? And most importantly, what would you have done in these situations? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed these wild relationship stories, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I've got plenty more Reddit drama coming your way, including workplace horror stories, family feuds, and life advice that will blow your mind. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Until then, remember, if someone is systematically destroying things you love or betting against your happiness, it might be time to change those locks. I'll see you in the next one.